Good morning. I'm actually very happy to be here to speak about something that's really very close to my heart. That is gender equality, equity, and women empowerment for sustainable development. I have recently participated in a conference in Malaysia. The topic of the conference was Islam and women's health. And the chief patron of IPPF is Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. IPPF organized the conference. And I would like to start my speech with a caption from that event. Islam promotes peace and health and does not discriminate women and girls from men and boys. Islam does not condone violence, abuse, and exploitation, nor does Islam encourage harmful or unhealthy practices. It is time to look at the evidence and promote the true perception and interpretation of Islam and women's health. I think we should all bear this in mind in a situation where a small girl like Malala is still in hospital fighting to stand up on her own feet and read her favorite books again. Bangladesh consists of a total population of 152 million, amongst which 76 million are women. According to the report of Bangladesh Alliance for Women Leadership 2011, percentage of total voters in the election, the total votes in the election that has been cast in 2008 was 86.29%. And amongst this, percentage of female voters are 50.87%. So I think it's quite evident that without involving this amount of female workforce or this large and huge amount of female population, no sustainable development can be achieved for Bangladesh and countries like Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, women hold 20% seats in parliament. Previously, it was actually 19. Presently, it's 20.4% because the recent amendment of the constitution has increased 5 more reserved seats in parliament, so that makes it 20.4%. Still, we are far below 30%, recognized as the critical mass needed to advance a gender equality agenda. Gender equality calls for those who are in disadvantaged positions to have a fair share of benefits of development, to have a level playing field. Next. Oh, I don't know actually where we are. Okay. For responsive governance and strong democracy, any government needs to give emphasis on women empowerment, education for all, needs to eradicate all sorts of discrimination against women in public life, private life, in national life, and it needs to ensure employment opportunity and a violence-free society, needs to ensure that female participation in the process of government is ensured, implement positive discrimination, and ensure fundamental, constitutional, and basic human rights of women. I would like to clear a point to you that our country is a democratic country, and it is not, all the laws are not derived from Sharia law. Our main source of law is the Constitution. We have incorporated certain provisions from Sharia in our personal law. So, our Constitution, we cannot have any law which is inconsistent with the provisions of our Constitution, because according to the Constitution, those provisions then would become lawfully not valid. In the Constitution, there are different articles which ensures equality of opportunity, equality before law, and also ensures that the state shall not discriminate on the basis of race, sex, religion, that women shall have equal rights with men, and equal opportunity in public employment. We are signatory to different international conventions, protocols. I would like to give emphasis on the Convention on Elimination of All Sorts of Violence Against Women, CEDAW, its optional protocol, CRC's optional protocol, and also Women's Political Rights Convention, etc. But again here, we must take into consideration one point, that no matter how many conventions or protocol signatory we are, unless and until those provisions are incorporated in our law of the land, those provisions does not become mandatory on us. Or when we do not abide by those provisions, it does not become a punishable offense. Keeping this in mind, the government of Bangladesh has taken various steps, not only in the policy level, but also have enacted many new laws. I would just be brief and would just try to read the laws because it's time consuming. Bangladesh Labour Law 2006, which ensures equal wages. Citizenship Amendment Law 2009. Right to Information Act 2009. Human Rights Commission Law 2009. And a very, very important and comprehensive law, that is Domestic Violence Prevention and Protection Law 2010. Why am I saying that it is a very comprehensive law? Because it addresses not only the issue of violence, but it gives a very broad definition of violence. That is, it covers physical torture, mental torture, sexual torture, and also financial discrepancy when it is done by a member of the family. And it also addresses certain problems which women are very afraid to even speak about. Like women in Bangladesh are afraid that when they file a case for their physical abuse or torture, then they will lose the custody of the children. But this law has ensured that the children can stay with the mother until it has been resolved. And there is also provision for restraint order, and there is also provision that the father will maintain the children and she cannot desert the entire family or the wife, and he will have to maintain the family, and even a notice would be given to his employer so that the maintenance of the children and the wife can be ensured. And that's why we say it is a very comprehensive law. And on Article 12 of CEDAW, all these articles specifically deal with the health care of women and children. As a signatory of all these conventions, Bangladesh is committed to meet the goals for MDG to ensure improvement of overall healthcare system by 2015. We have a Vision 2021. According to the vision, we are determined to ensure the minimum calorie intake to 2,122, and also we are looking forward to increase the life expectancy from 60 to 70 years. We have introduced e-health information, e-public aware initiatives and telemedicine, which has been very helpful for the people living in rural areas. We have established community clinics, but there's one sad thing that I would like to share with you, which is actually, I don't know about your country, but in Bangladesh, it is a very surprising phenomenon. And that is, whenever a government comes into power, they prefer to discontinue the policies undertaken by the previous government. And the previous regime, BNP-led regime, they actually stopped the community clinics, about 11,000 community clinics established by this government, which was in power at that time. But those clinics were not established for any political purpose. Those were established for the health care of the rural people. And then again, this government came into power and they have restarted all the community clinics, and already about 12,000 community clinics have been started and 2,000 have been in the process of construction. So I would really request every and all of you, the ministers, the parliament members, please do tell all your parties that when public interest is involved, when women's right is involved, when healthcare, children's right is involved, not to politicize everything. We have to have continuation of policies. Regarding immunization coverage, in 1985 it was 2%, now it has been increased to 82%. We are actually fighting with a lot of problems regarding to climate change, because at that time, you know, there's scarcity of pure drinking water, and we are combating against violence. And we are combating with all sorts of violence, which is very much on track. And I think if we can go ahead, then we will be able to achieve the MDG goal. But there's one concern of mine, it is the elderly health care. Because we are now, the life expectancy has increased to 60 years, and we have a vision 21 to increase it to 70 years. But are we really addressing how we would take care of the health problem of these elderly people, since there is no specific policy dealing with it? So I think we can adopt the UK model, where national insurance contribution to various public services, including health, is 9% of one's income. Public health service is free at point of delivery. Now, I would just go to my concluding remarks. As you can see, we are more than half of the entire population. So it's ceiling, new ceilings have come. We have again broken it, because we believe sky is our limit. Thank you all.